So welcome, welcome. I thought we'd just do kind of a little bit of everything today, and we're going to try using the resistance band with lots of our normal movements. And as always, band is optional. So we'll do some of these movements beforehand, and then we can add the band. And if you like to just do it without the band, you can. And also, since we are kind of engaging our muscles in a little bit of a different way, if you want to do a couple of repetitions with the band and then set it back down and do the regular movements, you can pick that as well. So yeah, that's what we got coming. So for now, let's just start by sitting in a comfortable position with both feet on the floor. Rest your hands wherever they're comfortable so that your shoulders can soften. And begin to bring your attention right here to this moment. Starting to feel yourself right here, sitting on your chair. Begin by tuning into your surroundings right now, just noticing the room you're in, maybe the temperature of the air. You can tune in and notice some of the sounds around you as well. And just kind of relax back and let sounds come to you. You might notice some sounds that are far away, maybe even outside of the room you're in. And sounds that are closer in, inside the room, but maybe also right close in, like the sound of your own breathing. Just noticing as you do that you don't have to do anything to listen to sounds. It's more of that feeling of stepping back and just observing, letting sounds come to you. And now bring your attention inwards. And just continue with that same quality of observing as you notice how you feel. So just take a step back. Notice what you notice when you pay attention. And bring that same quality of attention to your breath. No need to change it. Just notice, what does your breath feel like in this moment? And getting curious to check out where you feel your breath in your body. And you might feel air moving in and out of your nostrils. Or you might feel more of a sense of movement throughout some part of your body. You might feel your rib cage expanding and settling back with inhales and exhales. You might feel that sense of rise and fall at your belly. It could be anywhere in your body or even a full body sensation. And the same thing, you don't need to do anything. Your breath will happen no matter what, just noticing how it feels. And then we'll bring a little bit more intentionality to our exploration of breath. We're going to come back to our 360 breathing that we've tried a few times in the past couple of weeks. So here we'll bring in our resistance band or a strap. if you have a yoga strap, or if you're at home, maybe using a long belt or a scarf, doesn't really matter for this exercise. We're going to wrap the strap around the back of our rib cage like this, kind of trying to aim for low ribs. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then as you bring the ends forward, we're just going to cross them over into the opposite hands. And once you've got this, whenever you're ready, just soften your shoulders so that you're holding the band with a little bit of tension, the band or whatever it is you've got, but your shoulders aren't scrunching up towards your ears. And with that little bit of tension on the band, it doesn't have to be as much tension as you possibly can, just a bit. Come on back to your breath, allowing your attention to rest on the feeling of your ribs. See if that band gives you a bit of feedback so you can feel your ribs expanding with your inhales and settling back with your exhales. Now that you've spent some time just observing, see if you can picture sending your breath evenly all the way around the bottom border of your ribs. So you're expanding that resistance band or yoga strap evenly all the way around. 360 breathing. Nice. And then we'll let this focus on breath go. We're going to keep the band here, but just switch it back to the other hand. So you've got just the two ends coming forward. Nice, just like this. And for a lot of us, it's easier to feel the breath on the front and the sides of the ribs. So we're going to focus a little bit more on the back of the ribs. So just bring your arms forward so they're straight, so that there's a little bit of tension in the band. Doesn't have to be tons and tons, just enough that you feel a bit of a pull on the back of your ribs, but you're not yanking them forwards. All right. And from here, we're going to continue to focus on the breath, but now more at the back of the rib cage. And as you do, add a little bit of tension on that band. So there's a bit of a sense of your arms pulling forward. And as you breathe into the back of your ribs, maybe you can actually try to move your ribs back a little bit. And we'll try this a few times, just a few rounds of breath. Think about breathing into the back of the ribs. And then softly let this go. Let's just let the band off to the side for a moment. Maybe have a bit of movement if you like. And then come on back to stillness when you're ready. And we'll take just another moment or two with our breath. Just see if you can cultivate that 360 breathing without the band. Notice if it feels a little bit different, if it's easier to picture, maybe feel the movement of breath all the way around your ribs. Now let's start to move. As you inhale, floating your arms up, drawing your palms together. And as you exhale, tracing them down the center line of your body. Let's do that a couple more times. And the next time you bring your arms up, we'll keep them up. Exhale, send your right arm back and your left forward. Inhale to come back to center. And exhale to go the other way. Just adding a little bit of a tiny twist through your rib cage as you go. We'll do this a few more times. And the next time you come to center, we'll let this go. Just release your arms, shake them out a little bit. Rest your hands again, soften your shoulders. Now let's move our legs a little bit. Just march them out. If you'd like, you can add the arms, just reaching opposite arm across as each knee lifts. And let it go. Nice. Let's go into a side bend now. So bring your right hand down to hold the side of your chair, or just sit on your hand if it doesn't work to hold the side of your chair. Bring your focus to your spine. Try to lengthen through your spine as if you could expand from your belly button down and up at the same time. Not so much that your shoulders hike up, just so you can feel a little bit of more of a sense of alertness through your spine. And keeping all that length, bring the other arm up. And then exhale, go over into your side bend, only as far as you can while keeping both feet and both sides of your seat on the ground in the chair. And on an inhale, come back up, float your right arm up, reach up between sides. Exhale, soften a bit, bring the left hand down, just like the other side. Start with your spine. Can you add a bit of length? As you exhale, let's find our side bend on the other side, staying connected to the ground, but reaching up and out of that sense of groundedness. And with an inhale, come all the way back up and release your arm. Shake them out. Nice. All right, rest your hands once again. Let's give our shoulders a little bit of movement, just circling them up and back. And the other way a few times. And let that go. Let's move our spine a little bit more. We'll do some cat and cow movements. Tuning into your breath once again. Let's move with the breath. Inhaling to arch your back. Maybe roll your shoulders back a bit as you do so. With your next exhale, rounding through your back, letting your shoulders roll forward a bit. And just keep going, following your breath if that feels natural. And find your more neutral position in your spine when you're ready. Okay, and another spinal movement, we'll do a little twist here. So if you've got a block, you can grab one of them. If you don't have a block, you could roll up a blanket or a towel so that it's kind of the same size roughly. And we're going to hold it between our knees. Okay, so with your knees just gently squeezing into the block, can you add a bit of length to your spine? Nice. And here you can bring your hands to the sides of your ribs if you like. And then turn your ribs a little bit more to the right. And go over to the left. And try this, going side to side a few times. So your knees are still pressing into the block to encourage lower body to stay nice and still. And your rib cage is doing the movement. So try not to let your shoulders or your head pull you into the twist. Try to let your rib cage initiate the movement. And notice if you're kind of crouching down as we go from side to side, can you keep that sense of length? Maybe every time you come to the center, add a little bit more length. And the next time you come back to center, we'll let this go. Set the block away, have a little bit of movement. Nice, come on back to a more neutral position and just take a nice easy breath. Maybe coming back to your 360 breathing. Okay. All right, let's bring the band into the game now. So we're going to stand up and take the band onto our chair. So what we're going to do is try and kind of set the center of the band on the seat of the chair. Think about placing it kind of in the part of the chair where you were sitting. Kind of even amounts of the band on either side. It's kind of hard to find it exactly. And then we're going to sit back down and pin the band down with our seat. Nice. Okay, so grab the band in your hands now and check that you can bring it all the way overhead. So you can hold on to the band anywhere you need to, maybe even all the way up to the edge. Nice. And then with feet planted on the ground, take a breath. And again, you can do this without the band if you'd like. We're just going to do a lot of those same movements we just went through. So with or without the band, as you inhale next, bring your arms all the way up. As you exhale, bring your hands together and draw them down. Nice. Let's do that a few more times. Go nice and slow here. Letting your breath set the pace, or even going a little bit slower. As you bring your hands down, try to control that movement down so you're not letting the band pull you down too much. You're resisting that a bit. And as you do this a few times, notice your breathing. Can you bring your 360 breath into play here? Next time you bring your arms up, we'll keep them up. Let's do our windmill breaths here. Right arm back, left arm forward. Whatever's comfortable now that you're using the band. It might be different now. Let's do this a couple of times. See if you can keep that 360 breathing going. See if that feels supportive. The next time you bring your arms up, this time we're just going to let our arms come back down, give them a little shake out. Nice. Okay, and now we'll grab, if you had a block or a rolled blanket, we'll grab that and bring it between our knees again. Nice. Okay, and then take the band kind of behind your shoulders and draw it up and over like this. So you're bringing it behind so that when you bring the band forward, you can have it over your shoulders. It doesn't need to be pulled down as far as I have it. It can be right up here. What you want is just a little bit of tension. Nice. Okay, and we're going to do our tiny twists here. So with a bit of length in your spine, with your knees pressing gently into the block, start to twist side to side. And you might like to try out your 360 breathing here as you go. It's a little bit harder to do when we twist side to side. You notice your breath is a little restricted as you twist, but just see how you go. And then come back to center. Nice. Let's do some little shoulder rolls here. And then let that go. And we'll try some cat and cow. So when you're ready, as you inhale, arching your back. And as you exhale, rounding through your back. And keep going a few times. And then come on back to center. Nice. Slowly, gently take the band off to the side. Let's just set it down for a moment and shake it out. Nice. Okay. And the block can go off to the side if you've been using it. Just have a little bit of a wiggly movement here. See what part of you would like to move or stretch. Nice. Okay. And an easy breath here. Find your neutral. Take a moment to pause. Okay. And when you're ready, let's grab that band again. So same position as before. We're going to have our hands all the way up overhead. So grab it wherever that is comfortable for you. Nice. Okay, and let's try our side bend. So the right hand's going to stay down on the chair or under your leg. Bring the left arm up. Make sure the band is behind your shoulder. We don't want it to the side or in front. Nice. Add a bit of length to your spine. Notice how that feels with a little bit of resistance here from the band. And then side bend. Nice. Take a breath or two here. And back up. Let's switch sides. Slowly, slowly bring the left hand down. When you're ready, send the left arm up. Nice. Lengthening through your spine and then going over the other way. Nice. Notice if the stretch feels different with the band. And come on back up. If you want, you can bring the other arm up. Just reach up here. And exhale, slowly, slowly bring your arms back down. Nice. All right. So let's do one more movement with the band before we move on to some other stuff. So we're going to hold the band like this with your arms kind of, or your hands kind of close to your armpits. So you want to just grab the band in a position where there can be a little bit of tension here, not too much, but not in a position where there's slack here. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of turn to the side so you can see me a little bit better here. So what I find I like to do is kind of sit back a little bit so you've got the band a little bit farther forward. If it was closer to the back of your seat, it can be a little bit more under, kind of under your hip creases. Doesn't have to be perfect, and you can rearrange once we try this movement and see if it feels a little bit more pinned down well. Okay, so what we're going to do here is move our arms in opposite directions. So one hand we're going to pull it back, the other one we're going to reach it forward, and just pull and press at the same time. And you can rearrange the band a bit if you need to. We're going to do that on the other side. Nice. So keep going a few times. And you can add a little bit of a twist through your rib cage here. Coming back to hands kind of close to your armpits between movements. And when you feel like you're kind of even side to side, we'll let this one go. Okay. So we're going to set the band off to the side, but as we do, we can try a specific way of standing up. So you can let the band go. And we're going to try just standing up without our hands. So, and if this works for you, great. If it doesn't, that's perfectly fine. All we're going to do is sit up closer to the front of the chair. Make your feet about hip width distance apart. Maybe reach your arms forward as you do this. And then just lean your weight forward so that your weight's coming a little bit more into the base of your toes, a little bit less than your heel. And then lean forward and see if you can just stand right up without your hands. Let's just see if that works. If it doesn't, that's perfectly fine. Use your hands if that feels better. And then set the band off to the side. Okay, we are going to come back down to sitting, but since we're up, let's do a downward facing dog. So we're going to need some space on our mat. So if you've got your props on your mat, you can move them off to the side. Bring your chair up to the front of your mat. So all four legs of the chair are on the mat, so the chair's not going to slide anywhere. And just come up to standing behind your chair. Please relax your arms by your sides. Take a breath here. And as you inhale, bring your arms up. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to touch the back of your chair and start to walk your feet back so that you can come to our downward facing dog shape. Nice. Soften your knees. And here again, lengthen through your spine, feeling as if you could reach from your belly button back towards your tailbone and from your belly button up towards the crown of your head at the same time. Maybe bending your knees a little more gives you some more space to lengthen. Nice. Soften that work. Let's bring our focus to our legs. Just bend one knee, press the opposite heel down, and switch. And try this a few more times, just pedaling from one leg to the other. And come on back to a more neutral position. And slowly walk your feet back up to your chair. Nice. Give it a bit of movement here. Okay. Now let's come back to where we started, sitting on the chair. So if you've got your props moved out of the way, you can bring them a little closer so you can easily grab them. And then if you found it fairly easy to stand up without your hands, you can try sitting down without your hands. If it was a challenge to get up without your hands, then just come down like you normally would. So with your feet kind of close to your chair, where they would normally be when you sit naturally, make your feet about hip width distance apart. Start to bend at knees and hips, maybe reaching your arms forward for a bit of counterbalance. And then just slowly sit back. Place yourself on your chair and give yourself a bit of a wiggle. Nice. Okay. Let's grab some props. Let's grab our blocks if you've got them, and you can bring them beside your feet. We'll have this band nearby. We'll use it in a moment. Okay, let's start off with another movement for our spine. We'll do a forward fold. So for forward fold, I like to make my feet a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. And we'll start by thinking about hinging at our hips for our forward fold. So bring a bit of length to your spine once again. Notice how your spine feels when it's in this fairly neutral position. So we're not in a cat pose or a cow pose. We're nice and neutral. And then picture your hips as hinge joints and just fold forward, spine staying nice and neutral. This might be a great place for you to stay today. You might just let your head hang down. Or if your back feels great, you can curl forward a bit more and bring your hands down to your blocks or the ground. And whichever version you've chosen, let's stay here for a breath or so. See if you can just let your head go a little bit more, letting it have its weight. And as you inhale, come back up about halfway. So your spine comes back to neutral. You can bring your head back in line with your spine. And then with an exhale, we'll fold again, maybe just your head, maybe your whole spine, leaning forward. And with an inhale, come back up. Slowly bringing yourself back up to sitting with a nice neutral spine. And then see if any part of you would like some movement or some stretching. Okay, take a moment to pause, take a breath here. Okay, now let's give our hips and our legs some attention. So we'll start with just some knee lifts. So two options here. You can either just hold on to the back of your thigh like this, and option two is to bring your foot onto your block if you have it, so that you've got a bit more support when you bring your knee up here. So your movement can either be just lifting your heel up and down off of the block, or if you're not using the block, it can be lifting and lowering your knee like this. So a few times here, whichever version you've chosen. And let's switch sides. Grabbing your block if you'd like for the other foot. And same thing here, lifting and lowering. And when you're ready, we'll let this go. Bring your foot right back down to the ground. Have a little bit of movement. Okay, and we're going to come back to the first leg. So you can grab your block again if you'd like to use it. And we'll do some hip circles here. So either with your toes in the block, just circling like this, or just holding onto your leg if you prefer, circling like this. We'll circle a few times one way and a few times the other way. Just waking up your hip joint. Your hip joint is not actually a hinge joint. It has lots more ways that it can move. And let's set foot back down and set ourselves up for the other side. So with or without the block, when you're ready. Go a couple times in the other direction if you haven't already. And then let it go, placing your foot right back down. Okay, now let's grab the band. So grab the ends and then bring it down in front of you so you can set your heel onto the band. So just like this. And once you've got that, just hold onto the band wherever you need to so that there's a little bit of tension. So you feel like you've got a bit of support for your leg as it is reaching out in front of you here. A little bit of work to hold that band with your hands. Okay. And now what we're going to do is bend our knee. Try to pull your knee a little bit closer to you. And maybe you can just pull up on the band a little bit more so there's some tension here. Just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot here. Nice. And once we're here, all we're going to do is press out through our heel to straighten our leg. Doesn't have to be 100% straight. Just see what's comfortable for you. And then slowly pull your knee back in, or allow your knee to come back in. Control it back so the band isn't snapping your leg back. And try this a few times. Nice. Really slow and controlled. Okay, and check that. I'm going to turn to the side a little bit more so that I can show you. Check that it's not an action of bending and straightening like this. Try really to pull your knee in a little bit and straighten it. And it could be that you're really close to the ground here when you do that and you're pulling your knee in just a tiny bit. That's okay. You don't need to be way up here. Just try not to have it be a movement of your foot coming down and lifting up as best as you can. Just experiment, see what works for you. And you might be able to feel your quads working here a little bit. And we'll let the side go when you're ready. Just take the band away, have a little bit of movement. Coming back to stillness for a breath. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So find a comfortable way to wrap that band around your heel. Holding the band with a little bit of tension. Once you've got that, try to pull your knee a little closer to you and maybe add a little bit more tension here. So you've got a bit of tension when you're holding the band in this position. And then start to work with this here. Straighten, press your heel into the band, straightening a bit more. Control it back. Nice. Let's try this one a few more times on this side. And again, try not to have this be an action like this of your foot coming down and up. Try to keep your knee kind of up a little closer to your chest as you press out as best as you can. Okay, let this one go when you're ready. Let's set the band away, but don't set it too far. We're going to use it again in a moment. Having a moment to move or stretch or just rest. Okay, and let's grab our block if you've got one and bring it forward so that you can place your heel on the block. And we're going to use the band again here, so you can grab that when you're ready. And this time we're going to place the band more up towards the toes, so you're kind of anchoring it to the ball of your foot rather than your heel. Okay, so a little bit of tension in the band, maybe a little bit more this time. We're going to possibly lift our leg up, so you want that tension to be enough that it's kind of supportive. And we'll start with our hamstring stretch. So first, just flex your foot so that you're pulling your toes up towards the ceiling a little bit more, maybe reaching up through your heel. And then you can keep your heel on the block, or you can lift your leg up a little bit. See what suits you here on this leg, and just keep reaching out through your heel. And then let this one go and pass both sides of the band into your same hand as leg. Awesome. Again, a little bit of tension. And then we'll do our rotations now. So either with your heel down on the block or with your heel lifted, we're just going to think about rotating at the hip joint. Whole leg rolling in and out. And again, you're initiating this movement right up at the hip joint. So I like to picture that upper leg bone rotating in the hip socket. Nice, really feeling that your hip is not a hinge joint. You can rotate here, and maybe you can feel a bit of the muscles that are involved in doing that rotation when you use the band. And then pause in external rotation with your toes turned out. You can bring your heel down and stay right here, or you can have your heel up and stay right here. Or you can bring your leg out to the side like this. It's up to you. Take a few breaths here. And then slowly bring it back in. Place your heel down if it's been lifted, and we'll take the band away. Now you see what kind of movement your body would like after those stretches. Okay, let's do that on the other side. Okay, once you've got everything just how you want it, then flex your foot, toes reaching to the ceiling. Press out through your heel at the same time. See if you could make the back line of your leg a little longer. And then heel can stay down, heel can lift up. See what you prefer and breathe here. And you might like to come back to your 360 breathing. See if that feels supportive here. It helps to keep your stretch going, keep your leg lifted if it is lifted. And soften. Or if I go a little bit, switch the strap over to same hand as a leg. I like to add a little bit more tension here. It's up to you. And now we'll rotate. Think again about your hip joint being the place where you are initiating these rotations. Noticing what muscles are involved in this movement. You feel a bit of your outer hip working. I definitely feel that when I go into internal rotation. And then again, pause in external rotation with toes turned out, either here, or you can bring your leg out to the side. Using the other foot for a bit of anchoring and grounding. And breathe. And come on back in, placing your foot back down. We can set the band off to the side and take a breath, have some movement, see what comes naturally. And pause here. Rest your hands, soften your shoulders. Just notice how you feel. Okay, and let's come up to standing. You could try standing up without your hands again, or you can just stand up any way that feels comfortable for you. Okay, all right, so let's try a standing lunge, and we might add some of those arm movements that we've done with the band. So grab your band just in case you'd like to use it and just bring it on the back of your chair. So you've got it right where you need it. And then we'll bring the chair up to the top of the mat again. Same thing here, make sure all 4 legs of your chair are on your mat so it's not going to slide around. And then grab your band if you'd like to use it. And we're going to start with our right foot forward. So just step your right foot onto the band and find a position where it feels like you're really anchoring the band down under your foot. So I like to have the ball of my foot really centered on the band. Nice. And then hold on to the ends as best as you can, but kind of have your hands on the chair as well for a bit of support. And now, with your front foot planted on the band, step the left foot back. So you're coming into your lunge. Could be a tiny lunge like this, could be a giant lunge like this, does not matter. Nice. Okay. And once you're here, we'll take a breath here. Bringing some engagement to your legs. Can you press your feet down into the ground and pull them towards each other at the same time? Okay, and now same hand as leg is going to stay on the chair, and this part is optional. The other hand you can lift up and bring your hand close to your armpit. I'm just going to kind of show you like this. Nice. So the other hand is on the chair for a bit of support. You could stay right here, you can let this go, or you can add a bit of movement here, same as we did before, but this time with just one arm. So pulling your hand back and then pressing it forward and trying that a few times. And notice your legs have to do a little bit more work to stabilize you here as you move your arm with a bit of resistance. You might find your 360 breathing is helpful here. Maybe try that out. See if you find it helpful. And let your hand come back down to your chair. Lean your weight forward. Step the back foot forward. Release the band and just have a bit of wiggly movements. Nice. Take a breath here. And let's switch sides. So same thing here. Plant your foot on the band. Start with your hands on your chair. And then step the other foot back. Nice. Find the lunge shape that works for you. And then make your legs a little stronger. Press your feet down. Pull them towards each other. See if you can feel your muscles wake up a little bit when you do that. And then you can stay right here. You can bring opposite hand as leg up closer to your armpit. Nice. And you can try to add some movement if you like. Reach your arm forward. Come back to the starting place and press your arm back. Nice. Try that out a few times. Maybe add your 360 breathing. See if that feels supportive. You might be adding too much little details to focus on to bring that in. So let it go if you'd like to. And the next time you bring your hand back to the starting place, we'll let this go. Shift your weight forward, step the back foot forward, release the band, you can set it off to the side and just have a little bit of a wiggle. Come on back to standing wherever is comfortable for you. Let your arms just hang by your sides. Let's do a few shoulder circles. Try a couple in each direction. Relax your arms. Let's just do a little stretch for our arms. So just bringing one hand across and holding your arm a little bit so you can pull it a little bit closer to you. Take a breath or so. And let that go, and we'll switch sides. Breathing easy here. And let that go as well. Nice. See if anything else would like a bit of a stretch here before we move into our resting pose. Okay. We are ready to come down to our resting pose now. Maybe laying on the ground, or maybe you'd prefer to sit in your chair. It really doesn't matter what position you take as long as you find a place where you can rest. Okay, so as you get yourself set up, I will go turn the lights down here in the room. So just getting yourself nice and comfy. Maybe you'd like to grab some socks or sweaters or extra blankets or pillows. Once you have found a comfortable position, take a few deeper breaths. Just relaxing into the position you've chosen, settling your body. Making any little adjustments you need to make. And then tune into the feeling of all of the back of your body, resting on the ground or on your chair. Notice which parts of your body are in contact with whatever you're resting on. And then just notice the feeling of heaviness, of the weight of your body. Notice that you can allow your body to have its weight, to just rest into the support of whatever you are on, ground or your chair. And for the next few moments, see if you can do absolutely nothing, just allowing the weight of your body to be supported. We'll stay here for a few more minutes.